Good morning, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace dropping in on you. I am hoping that everyone is having an awesome start to their day. Well, shoot, it's 10 o'clock. If you're like me, you've been up since 5 or 6. And so you're deep into your day and your morning. Whether you are up early or not, I hope that you've gotten your day off to a good start. I hope that your day has purpose and you have a centralized focus on what it is you need to get done. I want to talk to you about the importance of self-discipline today. Uh, for those that come in later, I hope that you go back and watch it from the beginning. Those who are with me, I hope you stay to the end. Um, this is going to be one of those things. It shouldn't even take that long, but I think it'll be powerful. I think it'll be empowering. While I have you here, I want to remind you that you can participate in my 25th book project. For those of you who don't know, I have authored and published 24 books. I'm in the uh, process now of writing book 25, focusing on the need for and the process of and the challenges of building Black generational wealth. It's called the Black Wealth Project. And I'm allowing, on asking and hoping that my tribe, my village, my community, my expanded family will join me by sponsoring space in the book through which they can honor, pay tribute to, memorialize people who have made a major impact in their lives. There's no minimum sponsorship. If a person sponsors $1, their name will go in the book along with whatever they write to commemorate or memorialize somebody that they want to memorialize. And there are other benefits for different levels of sponsorship, all the way up to being able to put a portrait of the person you're sponsoring and having a dedicated page to where the only thing on that page is going to be what you put on it. It's all up to you. I'm hoping that you enjoy it. To learn more about this book and what it's going to entail, click the link, go to the page, watch the video, read the details, and please sponsor and memorialize somebody and at the same time support the work that I'm doing in that endeavor. On that note, let's move forward. Um, I often hear people talk about the need for motivation. And my response to that, if I need to motivate you, there are some other issues we need to work through. Motive and motivation shouldn't be a problem. You should have a reason why you're doing what you're doing, why you are striving for what it is you're striving for. You should have your why. If you don't have your why, that's where you need to start. But once you know your why, you no longer need motivation. Your why is your motive. That's the reason you're doing it. That's your motivation. Here's the thing, when people are actually saying they need motivation, what they're actually saying is they lack self-discipline. It's time to get up and they don't feel like getting up. So they equate this feeling of not wanting to do something and the need for some type of propulsion or compulsion to do it as a need for motivation. No, what you will absolutely need in this is self-discipline. That thing that says, regardless of how I feel, I will. And see, that's one of the things that is a problem with so many people that aren't getting on. There's something you want to do. There's something out there that you desire to do. There's something out there that you know you need to do, you want to do, and you have it in front of you. But you wake up in the morning and what you do to advance you towards this thing that you say you want to do, this thing you say you want to have, this thing you say you want to accomplish is based on what you feel. See, accomplishing great things and fulfilling one's destiny cannot be contingent upon having a certain way you feel, because your feelings will oscillate based on situations and circumstances. You can't live your life in the level of responsibility and execution based on how you feel. You are going to have times when you don't feel like doing it. You're going to have times when life sucks and you just don't want to be there. You're going to have times when you just want to retreat into some space and be to yourself. But what you are supposed to be doing is demanding your presence, is demanding that you take action. And this is going to be present in anything of any value, anything worth having. It's going to be present. Let me explain something to you. I often, when talking to clients, I talk about my relationship with my wife. The one thing that I think I bring to the table in my marriage is consistency. I show up every day. Now, the truth of the matter is there are days that I have a lot going on, and if it was based on my feelings, I probably wouldn't be all the way there. I wouldn't necessarily be. There are times that my wife may do something or say something that kind of pushes me in a little way that I'm not really feeling it right now. And if I act based on my feelings, I would treat her differently than when I'm feeling her all the way. But what my wife will tell you is she gets the same thing from me every day, whether we're on the same page, whether we've had a little tat or whatever, which isn't often, and it's never explosive. We have learned how to love on each other and communicate with one another in a way that we don't do that. But there are still those moments. And what she'll tell you is it doesn't matter where I'm at in my feelings. The execution is the same. Why? Because the execution is based on my responsibility. It's based on the demand on me to be what I'm supposed to be, what I promised to be, what I made a vow to be. And it has absolutely nothing to do with it. I didn't say if I feel like it, I will. If I feel like it, I do. It said, I said, I do. I do commit to doing this, and it's not contingent upon how I feel. Well, the same type of commitment has to go to accomplishing the things that you've set out to accomplish. The same type of commitment has to go towards you starting a new business, you working on your finances, you restoring your credit, you moving into a better position as a parent, you being a better spouse. All the things that are going to make you overall a better person, more effective, more powerful, more impactful, requires that you show up every day, not based on how you feel, but based on the commitment you made to yourself to execute what you are going to do in this world. It's not, and what it requires is not motivation. It requires self-discipline. It requires something on the inside of you that says, I don't care how I feel, I'm getting up and I'm showing up. There are times, today was one of those days. Today has been one thing right after another. And there comes this point in time where I have to remind myself, I'm not done yet. See, sometimes you get it, you go, what's going on? Why is this not? I'm not done yet. I'm not done until I stop breathing. I'm not done until this life is over. There's no time to sit back and become complacent in something that I've accomplished, to rest on my laurels. That's another thing. You get a little space, you get a little advancement, and you sit back and you want to take it. It's nothing wrong with enjoying it. It's nothing wrong with celebrating it, but you got to keep moving. You're not done yet. You're not finished yet. Get the job done. Whatever you set out to do, have it where you can measure it. Have it where you can see the progress. Have it where you can look and say, okay, this didn't happen. Let's see if we can do it this way. Let's see if we can move that way. But the one thing you got to do is you got to commit to showing up. You have to commit to showing up. This isn't about how you feel. This isn't about it's one of those days. There are going to be some of those days. Matter of fact, what I can tell you, when you truly develop self-discipline that says I'm showing up no matter what, it's in those days where you don't feel like it, but you show up anyway, that great things happen. Those are the times that separate you from other people. See, everybody shows up when they feel good, when they feel like it, when it's like, when they're excited about it, when everything's going their way, everybody shows up. It's when things aren't going the way you want them to. It's when things are pushing against you. It's when things are not happening at the pace you want them to, but you show up anyway. It's when people are getting on your last nerve, but you show up. It's when people are talking you down, but you show up. It's when everything that could have possibly went wrong yesterday, but you show up today. That's where great things happen. When you apply self-discipline to the necessary things in your life, to the things that are going to change your life, to the things that are going to make you more effective in your life, to the things that are going to create power in your life, it's at that point when you sit up and say, I'm going to do it no matter what. You've got to have that no matter what mindset. You got to have that no matter what mentality. You got to know no matter what, I'm going to put in the work. It's not about how you feel. It's not contingent upon a feeling. It's contingent upon a commitment. What have you committed to do? And in that commitment is a demand on you to execute. And the execution of the requirements are not contingent upon you feeling like doing them. There are times I don't feel like dealing with my kids, but the requirement says be present. There are times I want to sink into some space and say, man, forget all this inspiring people stuff. Ain't nobody listening. Ain't nobody paying attention. Man, ain't nobody showing up. But there's something that's inside of me that's full of self. Say, show up. And if you have to speak to yourself, because while nobody will show up and watch it now, when it's uploaded, when it's saved, somebody's going to show up tomorrow, next week, next month, and it's going to change their lives. You put in the work. You don't worry about how the work is received. Your job is to put in the work. What you put out is coming back. What you're sowing, you will reap. What you're planting will come to a harvest, but you can't let your feelings dictate what you're going to do on any given day. I'm not done yet. There's so much force in self-discipline. You know, self-discipline, especially when you start to elevate, because the more you elevate, the fewer people you're going to be accountable to. See, when you got a job you have to show up to, it's not necessarily self-discipline, but the fear of losing the job that'll make you show up. The fear of being written up and reprimanded, and maybe in some instances, docked pay will make you show up. But when you start to elevate and you start to come from underneath a lot of those levels of accountability and you start to have more freedom, you're going to start to realize you better have some good self-discipline, because nobody's going to call you if you don't wake up. Nobody's going to call you, don't show up. Why? Because you are accountable to you. You are accountable to your own commitment. You are accountable to what you have said you're going to do. And if you don't show up, nobody's going to care, but it's going to show up in your results. Your lack of self-discipline will show up in your results. It's not always about the feeling. Everybody wants to have I get it. I love those moments when I'm having that feel-good moment, but it's not going to change when things get a little rough or things get a little frustrating or things become difficult. You have to understand that what you're doing is bigger than any one moment, that you're building something for a lifetime. You're building something for a legacy. You're building something for your progeny down the line, for those who will be born after you're gone to still know you came, you saw, you conquered, you put in the work. Yeah, there are going to be some difficult moments. There are going to be some times that you feel like you're getting hit from every side. There are going to be some times that everything inside you will say fold. You can't, though. You can't give up. You're not done yet. You got to know that what you're doing is bigger than that moment, that your why is bigger than that moment, that there are people in your family, people in your community, people you never even met yet that are depending on you to wake up and put in that work, to do what you said you're going to do. Because in you doing what you said you're going to do, you are going to ultimately change their life. It's always about how you are enhancing the lives of others. Look, I'm going to break it down on that note. Self-discipline is the capacity to move based on your commitment, despite the situation, the circumstances, how you feel, what's going on. You show up, you put in the work, you're present. I challenge you to show up. I challenge you to be present. I challenge you to stand and do what you said you were going to do. Not because everything's all great, not because it feels awesome, but because that's what's required of you. Greatness is going to place a demand on you that most people aren't willing to meet. The question is, will you answer the demand? Look, on that note, I'm going to get out of here. As I always say, I live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I challenge you to do the same thing. And don't forget to click that link and on the Building Wealth Project and check out what we're doing with the sponsorship program for the book, and so that you can memorialize someone that has made an impact on your life. And on that note, I'm gonna get out here. You guys have an unbelievable day.